All right, what's up, hockey fans, hockey fanatics out there? Welcome to the Hockey Lounge, episode 37. Leafs post game tonight. The Maple Leafs were in Ottawa, and it was a battle right to the end. A lot of different calls towards the end there, and I'm sure Leaf Nation is heated tonight. We're going to have a few guests on the panel, talk about the Leafs game tonight. We'll dive into the Ottawa Senators and the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight, and we'll look into the game somewhat last night when Toronto beat the Montreal Canadiens 2-1. My wingman is back in the lounge tonight. He's got a little bit of a different background. I think he's ready for the New Jersey game tomorrow night. Seems that he's got into the dressing room for the New Jersey Devils. What's going on, big guy?
Not much. A lot of good hockey tonight.
Yeah, a lot of games going down. You know, we got the football game, we got the baseball game, game 5 of the Dodgers and the Giants. A lot of stuff happening out there. But first, we're going to bring in a couple of guests, a couple of friends of the Hockey Lounge. First off, we have P. Diddy is back. The tipster is back. Look at that Kraken hat. He's cheering for the Kraken. And then he is back. He is back. It took a little while to get him back on the panel. The O'Connor is back. He is back large on the Hockey Lounge. And here he is. Frankie Boy is back. O'Connor, what's up, bud?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Not bad. How are you?
Good. It's great to have the game back here. It's like the Brady Bunch. We're looking up and down at the squares here, right? So, you like that, eh, Santi?
Oh yeah, Frank and I played D together. Actually, we were partners for a little bit.
That's right.
That was pretty scary, man.
only pluses,
right,
buddy.
Yeah. Forget it. Always pluses. You know, Teeps is already chirping. He's saying, "Let's go Panthers. Let's talk about the Pens loss." Listen, Teeps. You know what? At least we got a point out of it. The Leafs didn't get a point out of nothing tonight. But let's talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Ottawa Senators tonight. They were down 3-0 going into the third period. We'll start off. We'll go around the corner here with, first off, your thoughts on the Leafs tonight and what went down in Ottawa.
I was pretty disappointed to see the way they came out. Like, after getting bombarded the first 10 minutes against Montreal yesterday, I figured they'd be ready for this one. Mm-hmm. But again, they just started out slow. Points in the game where they looked like they dominated Ottawa like they should have, but there's lulls there that just it would concern me.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? If you look at the stats tonight with this game, you know, Teeps brings up a really good. There's comments like crazy coming here tonight, guys. Luch is watching out there, and the O'Connor is getting a props already. Bonano's in the house tonight. Thanks, Luch, for watching. Tipu bring it up, and let's bring this up with Paul here right now. Tipu saying Spezza was the best player on the ice tonight. I agree with Teeps here for sure, right? So what, Santi, what are your thoughts on Jason Spezza tonight?
Yeah, like he played really well, right? Did his job, went over and above what his role is. It's kind of wasted on this team because you don't need Jason Spezza is good for the team, but my theme this year is going to be, you know, exactly like the way we were with the Raptors 5 or 6 years ago with DeMar and Kyle. Like, who gives a shit what you do in the regular season? Let me see you in the playoffs. And like, to watch that hockey is just like, it's annoying a little bit because it's not going to be played that way in the spring, and you can't play that way. So we're just going to go through this exercise. Hopefully they make the playoffs. And I just think they don't have the right pieces. I just really don't think they have the right pieces. They're not built the right way. And my opinion on this is not going to change unless they change the pieces. And they got out goaltended tonight with the backup goaltender that they signed, and is what it is. But we learned in this city, guys, the Toronto Blue Jays didn't make the playoffs because they pissed away games in April and May, and you can't be pissing away any games, okay?
Right,
because it's going to come back to bite you in the ass.
You got it, 100%. Every point matters, especially in the Eastern Conference and in the Atlantic Division. Okane, we got a Harky Hack, I believe it is. Harky Hark. Harksy's watching. Mike Hark's watching. That a boy. Love all these guys watching tonight. I love it. Thanks to all the viewers watching. Okane, your thoughts here with what went down tonight? 3-0. So let me give you a couple stats here. The Leafs outshot the Ottawa Senators 32-27. Face-offs were 32-27. The power play was 2 for 5 for the Leafs tonight, which is good to see that the power play started rolling. 22 hits to 24 to the Sens. Shots on nets, the Leafs had 48 to the Ottawa Senators 36 here. A little different story from last night. Can you believe the Leafs only had 14 hits last night? Tonight they definitely ramped it up and brought 22 hits to the house. Frank, your thoughts on the Leafs' performance tonight?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with both Apple and Santi, right? Again, guys, it's the beginning of the year, right? It's game 2, right? We're not 30 games deep, but one thing's for sure. Going back to that Spezza comment, I think I mentioned this last year too, is that Spezza, $700,000, can't beat it. Not the best value for the Leafs. That's the best value. That type of player, right? Getting that kind of money, best value of the league, I think, right? Personally.
But let's go back to what Santi said tonight. In terms of, yes, best value for his contract, but is that the type of player the Leafs need in this lineup? And when Apple and I had a show the other night, we talked about the different type of lineup the Leafs might need to go the 82-game season as well as deep to the playoffs. I really think they need the rookies to really push the pace here. I don't understand why Nick Robertson got sent down. A player like Wayne Simmons now, I don't know if he can really keep up with this game. I bring Sandpiper. I like the Mike Button. I like Kemp. I like Cachet. I like the guys that they brought up or they signed here. But I think that speed and grinding in terms of speed and hitting is going to be the Leafs' forte. We have another member in the lounge coming tonight. Hold on one sec. We have Pedro Cabral. Welcome to the Hockey Lounge. Panel of 5 tonight. We got a lot of input on the Maple Leafs here. It's again, thank you to all the viewers watching tonight at home. We're dissecting the Ottawa Senators win over the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-2. Pedro, welcome to the Hockey Lounge tonight. Just get yourself off mute there so I can get you we can hear you. Paul, you were going to mention something before Pete.
And
Hey, what's going on, Pete? All right.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me again.
I was going to say this, like, if you subscribe to the theory of like the way the Penguins won the cup with speed and all that kind of stuff, that's fantastic. Right. Unfortunately, personally, I don't. So my struggle is, it doesn't really matter how many hits that they throw a game, because who are you worried about getting hit by? There's 3 guys that you're worried about getting hit by: Muzzin, Hall, and Simmons. All the other guys, it doesn't matter if they throw 500 body checks, because they don't really make it that difficult on the opponents to play against them. And that's why like the way they're built, like Jason Spezza, God bless him, fantastic, right? But it's kind of a waste on this team because you need a different person in that role to provide what they need. They need to be more difficult to play against. And there's 3 guys on this team that are tough to play against. Everybody else is too easy.
So I'm going to throw this out to you. What I meant by the hitting aspect is not the D. What I'm talking about is the forward forecheck. Being relentless on the puck, wild dogs on the puck. instead of being that more perimeter play. I'm going to throw this to you, and then Peter will get to you on that. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and to me, this ties in with Spets. I agree with you guys, but he because he was as noticeable as he was tonight, I think it's alarm bells. Like usually early in the year, everybody's raring to go, and the fact that he was the best player tonight, that's not a good sign. Like the fact that they scored 3 goals now in 2 games, and 4 goals in 2 games, and 3 of them were on the power play. They've only got 1 5-on-5 goal. The Nylander winner last night against Montreal. I mean, you got to see these guys more. Nylander's doing his job. He's scoring. I'm not talking about him, but where are the other guys? Where's the Richie and the Cachet that they brought in? I'll tell you another guy that I was impressed with in both these games is Kempe. He's in his own end. He played very well. He knows where to be in his own end. But other than those 2 guys, and Campbell played well last night, and he played well in the third period. He made a lot of big saves in the third period tonight. Mrazek, as Santi said before, he was the guy that we brought in. We've discussed it before that we don't think he's any different than Freddie Anderson was, and the 1 period shows it all so far. But I think there's alarm bells early on for the talent that they have to play Ottawa like that tonight and get completely caught off guard in the first 10 minutes is just, to me, it's unacceptable.
Right, Peter. I'm going to throw this out to you right now. Is that again the first 10 minutes last night against Montreal? Campbell had to come up big. I thought Campbell was their best player last night. Montreal came out hard. And then again, the same thing tonight. Ottawa comes out hard. Mitch Marner not on the scoreboard tonight, 0 points. Is that a concern now for Leaf Nation? I know it's only 2 games in, but for me, losing a series 3-1, you think they would come balls to the wall. And just making the playoffs is something that every team wants to do. And once you get in, whatever happens. But I just think the fire should be there more.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like you said, it's early in the season, and starting 1-1, I guess, for most teams that's fine. But again, this is a team that just lost 3-1 in a series. The expectations are high. Yes, their best player is not playing, but they got to be good enough to win these 2 games. So tonight they weren't ready to play. That first period was brutal. And so if you're a team that's desperate and you're ready to take a next step, I think early on in the season, Keefe's job, I'm telling you guys right now, management are looking at Keefe more so than ever. They cannot afford to get off to a bad start. Again, I know it's 2 games, 1-1, but to me, I think after you won last night, you go into Ottawa, you got to win tonight. You have to win. They got to come out guns a-blazing. And so it's disappointing. To me, it's disappointing they're 1-1, and the way they started tonight there's some alarms early on that I'm seeing already in 2 games. So we'll see how they respond Saturday, but there's not some good signs, I would say.
For sure. Let's just go over the scoreboard tonight, gentlemen. Around the National Hockey League, you had the Panthers coming back from a 4-2 deficit, beating the Pittsburgh Penguins 5-4 in overtime. You have the Detroit Red Wings up 6-3 with 12:50 left in the third period over the defending Tampa Bay Lightning. So Tampa Bay looks like they're starting off a little slow as well. The Kraken is up 3-2 against Nashville, end of the second. You have the Vegas Golden Knights and LA Kings at 10:30 tonight. The Hurricanes put a beat down on the Islanders tonight, 6-3. The Rangers lost in overtime to the Dallas Stars, 3-2. Columbus put a beat down on the Arizona Coyotes, 8-2. And the Buffalo Sabres put a beat down on the Montreal Canadiens, 5-1 tonight. That's the scoreboard in the National Hockey League. So you have a couple games that are still playing. You have Tampa and Detroit, the Kraken and the Predators, and the Golden Knights and Kings are the late game at 10:30. Let's go back to the Toronto Maple Leafs defense. So any concerns, and I'll start this off with Frank. Frank, any concerns with Justin Hall playing the minutes he's already playing with this hockey team?
No.
No.
I agree with his minutes.
Okay.
I think the issue there is when it comes down to D is I don't know. This I find it that Morgan Riley is not a key piece of the puzzle anymore. He hasn't been himself. I'll be honest with you. I was surprised that he signed, right? Because I don't think he wants to be in Toronto anymore, to be honest with you, right? He's he had a chance tonight late in the game to put it away or tie the game, I guess, right? It just, again, lack of leadership, right?
Right, but when you point out Riley, Frank, you point out Riley, and I throw this out to, and all of you guys can talk about, Riley. Last night Riley played 22-40. Tonight he played 23-43. Tops both nights for the D. The most ice time went to Mitch Marner with 24-20. But Riley, back-to-back night, 22 plus minutes here. Paul, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know if you want my thoughts on this one, Nick, because there is a major problem, and I sent you this text message today. Yeah. Jake Muzzin and Hall are on the ice to shut down in game 1 of the season with a minute left. They're the only 2 guys you can put on the ice. The other 4 guys are completely useless to win you a game. Useless. They are useless. They are those other 4 guys are completely useless. Okay? So they're constructed incorrectly. You've got 4 offensive-minded guys and 2 guys that can lock down. Take a look at the last Stanley Cup champions and the finalists for the last 3 years, with the exceptions of the Penguins. Take a look at those 6 teams. Tell me how they're constructed. Do you think Jake Muzzin and Jared Hall are going to be shutting down games for them? They got nobody else to shut down games for them, unless you're going to put Simmons on the plane.
If you want those guys to shut down games, you got a problem, because they were both -2 tonight. Muzzin and Hall. So those guys are your shutdown guys, you're in big trouble.
But they won last night, and that's exactly what I told you. Last minute of the game, Hall and Muzzin shut the game down. That's all I need to know about this team. That's all I need to know about them. And they won. So I'm not jumping on the bandwagon tonight because they lost. I'm going to be consistent with my thoughts on it. They're constructed incorrectly.
Okay, so that goes Apple. So going to the roster of the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Mitch Marners, the Jonathan Tavares. Frank and I talked about Tavares today. Are they waiting? Are they waiting for Matthews to get in the lineup? Because I just don't think that one guy can, change the direction or the path for the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. We've seen Matthews in the lineup the last few years with the same result here.
I agree with you. It seems like they're playing knowing that they have like that excuse in their back pocket. What happens if Matthews gets hurt in game 82 and he can't play the playoffs? Okay, guys, we're gonna pack it in. Let's go home. We don't have Matthews. We're not gonna play. Like, all the other guys on the team's got to step up. They can't rely all on one guy to win that. And going back to what we were talking about the defense, there was a lot of points in the game tonight that I was watching when Ottawa was in the Leafs' end. The defensemen are standing there, like even all 5 of them. A lot of glorious chances that Ottawa had were because they were moving the puck, their players were moving, and the Leafs were just standing still. There's like no attention to detail in their own end.
So that goes back to Peter. That goes back to the complaint of Leaf Nation when Mike Babcock was here with the Leafs, how they were brutal in the defensive zone. This is just like, how many times have we seen this movie? And I think it just goes back to Kyle
Doofus.
Kyle, what's his name? Kyle Doofus. Doofus. It goes back
and Sheldon Skeef.
Sheldon Skeef. Right? So Pete, like, what do they have to do here? Listen, we talked about it. What's wrong with the defensive coverage?
Well, I think, the personnel. I mean, you can only do what you have, right? So their personnel has kind of been the same since Dubas has come in. Puck moving defenseman. They lost Bogosian, who, for what they got for him last year, he was fantastic. They haven't replaced that, and that's until they replace that, they're going to have problems. You can't go with this deep core into the playoffs. There's no chance. You're done. So they're going to have to make some changes. We've talked about it. My feelings about Morgan Riley. We don't have a number 1 D. We put all our eggs in one basket, which was the 4 forwards up front. Now we don't have money to spend in the areas that are important. And a championship team you build from the back end. I mean, Tampa Bay has won 2 Stanley Cups. Who's their horse? It's yes, Kucherov's a nice player. Stamkos is a nice player. It's Hedman. That's their horse. And they obviously have goaltending as well, but their horse is Hedman. So for some reason, we didn't build that way. We built up front. We think we can put a whole bunch 6 guys back there making whatever money, and hopefully it works out. But we know it doesn't. So and even you can look at Montreal for that matter, who made it to the Stanley Cup final. What did they have? They had a horse. Weber's an old guy, but Petrie, they had horses back there. We don't have horses. And until that we change that, we're going to be talking about this all the time, that our defensive zone coverage isn't good because we don't have the personnel to make it good, or at least to play hard, to be hard to play against. And that's the biggest problem.
Right. So we have Brandon Burr making a comment here. I don't know if, we want to really dissect into that, but there's a few things here. He just says the Leafs top players have not won anything of significance at the pro level. Common thread amongst championship teams is that they have winners. Hits and speed mean nothing. Well, you know what? In terms of hits and speed mean nothing. I think definitely an aggressive forecheck goes a long way. If you look at the Stanley Cup winners, the reason why they won is, and you're going to see Tampa struggle this year, is because they lost their third line. Their third line were buzzsaws. They were like wild dogs on the puck. Tampa Bay is going to miss them. And you look at their run 2 years ago. If you look at the St. Louis Blues, the Stanley Cup winners, how did they win? The forecheck, the speed, the heavy hitting. They're a heavy team, right? You go to the Caps. How did they win? Heavy teams, speed, hitting. So I don't care about the defenseman hitting. I want a forecheck that just forechecks the shit out of players and puck possession. That's how you want to win. Paul?
The interesting thing about this topic is in the All or Nothing series, Sheldon Keefe identified this like midway through the season, saying we don't score enough goals in the greasy areas. And come the playoff times, we're going to have a tough time scoring goals. And those guys make millions of dollars. And us 5 stiffs are here right now talking about it, identifying the exact same issue. Okay?
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And guys, look at the goals that Ottawa scored. All shit goals in the shitty areas of the ice, okay? And all the Leafs are doing is buzzing around the outside, all the shit you can do from September to March, okay? And then when you have to put your nuts on the line, that stuff's gone, man. You got to score in the tight areas. They tonight even still didn't score. Like, I'm just trying to think. No, I don't think they scored any goals in the tight areas. No, they don't.
No.
But I wanted to say something and I forgot. Anyways, I'll come back. Sorry.
Think we'll come back. Yeah. So in terms of their goals they scored tonight, Frank, beauty shot by Spezza, and then a beauty feed by Spezza to Nylander. Again, the fountain of youth with Jason Spezza. What are your thoughts on the new guys? Bunting, like Apple mentioned Kemp today as well. And what are your thoughts, Frank, on Kerfoot sliding into the number 2 center? Because that really surprised me that he's a number 2 center right now.
Yeah, well, I was surprised too, to be honest with you, right? I thought for sure number 3, right? He's that type of guy that you need, or that can be that greasy player, maybe you want to call him, on a 4th line, right? But one thing I have to say is, we don't have that 3rd or 4th line that Tampa Bay had for them to win the cup. But I have to, I got to be a critic here. Mitch Marner, he puts up 24 friggin' minutes, okay? And he did nothing, absolutely nothing. Why? Because he relies too much on Matthews, okay? Right? Without Matthews, right, this team, I'm going to say it tonight, this is the way I feel, right? Yeah, I'm a devoted Leaf fan, but what I see so far, if this guy gets injured again, right, we're in deep trouble, right? We won't make the playoffs, right? This team is built too much on Matthews, right, in my mind.
I'm just throwing it out there. He had 6 shots on net. He had 1 hit. He did play those minutes.
But useless.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Peter, if you were the coach, Coach Pete's behind the bench there. Do you really put Kerfoot number 2, or do you move Nylander to the center, and you go Johnny T, you go Nylander, and you go Kerfoot? I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. I don't love Kerfoot at number 2 center. I don't even know if I love him at center, to be quite honest with you. I kind of like him more on the wing. The challenge is they're handcuffed, and the players that they actually have brought up would be nice as if they had a nice young, if Robertson was a center, someone who they can kind of a young stud who's kind of still developing that you can throw in there and kind of, feed him some minutes when somebody goes down that can replace a top 2 centerman. We don't have that, and that's a problem. With just the way the team is being built, like we're way too top heavy. And when we're talking about Matthews being out and we're like worried, that is not a good sign, guys. We should not be worried. When you have John Tavares, and I love John Tavares, but he's
sorry, Pete, you're just breaking up there a little bit. Can you guys hear him, or is he freezing on you?
No, I can hear him.
You have guys that should be able to step it up. Like Matthews going out, he's a big piece, but there's no reason why these other guys like John Tavares stepping up in the number 1 role shouldn't be. We should be able to beat these teams, and it shouldn't be that much of a difference. So having Kerfoot, and it's a great question, Nick. Is he the number 2 guy? I just don't know what the other option is. You can move Nylander to center. The guy doesn't play center. That's even a questionable call. So I honestly think Keith's hands are tied. Like he's probably the best option, to be honest with you. I'd hate to say it, but that's how we're built, and it's not good.
Yeah. And he was one of their best players he was one of their better forwards in the playoffs. If don't forget,
100%,
right? And
sure.
petrified that he was going to get taken by Seattle, right? Not too long ago. So
yeah.
They're anyways.
Let me just break this down.
It's a bunch of guys like that are, again, it's great in the playoffs because they're third liners and they're working hard. So that's the problem.
One positive thing, Hark is saying Bunting has been great. Kerfoot is useless. Harks, thanks for watching. Apple, I'm going to throw this to you though. When Matthews comes back here, one positive note that I have for the Toronto Maple Leafs is I like what they can probably put together on their bottom 6 now. With Kemp, Bunting, Cachet, you put Kerfoot on the bottom 6. I think they have something there that they can really work with. But are the big boys going to play? Yeah.
Nick, I think the whole problem, and Santi brought this up in other shows with us, is to me the whole culture is like wrong. To start like Shanahan and Keefe, this whole country club attitude, I honestly don't. I think Robertson's going to be a great player, but you bring him up now, and he gets in and he sees what's going on in this room, what we think or what it seems like is going on, where like the top 4 guys rule the roost. They can do whatever they want. Nobody gives a shit. We're going to use Matthews being hurt as an excuse. Is he going to fall into that same thing? I said it in previous shows, they had the best general manager in hockey in house, and they let him go for this guy. There's no structure on this team. There's nobody breaking balls saying you need to shave. You're not going to have your own personal commercials because it's not about you. It's about the crest on the front of your jersey. Shanahan, I thought at the beginning was great, but I think the biggest mistake they made was getting Doofus as a GM, because it looks like that. And even Keefe, it looks like he's too laid back. He's too set. Yeah. He got a contract extension for what? I just think the whole culture, nobody's being held accountable for anything there. Like if I was Sheldon Keefe, if I was a coach of this team right now in the dressing room after this game, I'd be smashing cans against the wall.
Garbage cans.
Yeah.
But if you're Kyle Dubas though, you give your buddy an extension to give him some extra dough too, just in case you're gonna get your ass fired at the end of the year. Because I would do the same thing. Okay. And when I ran minor hockey,
Christmas, buddy.
I know, but that's what
right.
Doofus is saying. Doofus is saying
Here's
these
a
people
little,
don't like. Let me give him an extension. Nobody's going to care about the money because MLSC's got more money they know what to do with. So the
Yeah.
extension is just him taking care of his buddy. That's all it is. Like, there's nothing more to it. And the media even said that. So, like,
Fair enough.
So it's crazy that, guys, we're talking about game 2 and all this stuff is being brought up and whatnot. And Frank, I'm going to go to you with this one. We'll go around the horn too with this. Sheldon Keith, Kyle Dubas selected Keith for one reason only, and the only reason is he is his puppet. With Mike Babcock, there was no puppet here. He called out Dubas. Okay, this is Dubas running the kitchen. That's basically it, right?
Yep, 100%. Right. Just to elaborate, but I don't know if you guys noticed this, not tonight, but if you guys noticed that Keith was more vocal, I found tonight, trashing the refs a lot more than he used to. Right.
I noticed that at the end. Yep, for sure.
Yeah, he was losing. Like, is it coming from? I don't think it's coming from Dubas. I think it's actually probably coming from Shanahan, right? Because, I'm sure. Again, if there's going to be, and I know you guys talked about this on other podcasts, there has to be a culture change, right? And it doesn't start from the bottom up, obviously. It starts from the top, meaning ownership, right? These guys got to get involved. They got to get in the room, and they're going to say, what is it going to take? We have a problem here. We have talent. We have individual players that are really good on paper, right? But who's going to manage these guys? And that's the problem, in my opinion.
Right. So we got a couple comments here. Berlin, Apple wins. Harky Hark, right Apple. Man, got to get some Apple jerseys out there, eh? Large Apple jerseys. Hashtag shit and large. Peter, goaltending. Mrazek.
I wanted to throw.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to throw one quick. I don't know if I read a lot of Leaf news. I'm constantly on different websites, and an interesting. While you guys were talking about Keefe, there's an interesting comment he made, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, but for the first time, I actually saw Keefe kind of not on the same page as the management group, and it was him making a remark about Adam Brooks. In terms of it wasn't really his choice or decision, or he wasn't part of that decision with Adam Brooks being put on waivers. So
I like Adam Brooks.
Yeah, and he is who he is, but it was an interesting comment because it was the first time since Keefe has been, and like I said, I read a ton of Leaf news on different websites and all kinds of stuff, and it was the first time I've ever heard Keefe not kind of on the same page as the management team. So it's going to be, and now, seeing him lose it. So it's going to be an interesting start of the season, I think, between that whole coaching, management, and to see where all this is going to go. But
you know what? And so let's, a couple more questions before we finish off the night, guys. So again, if you want to become a Hockey Lounge member, hit that subscribe button below. We've been rocketing with subscribers and viewers the last couple episodes. So thank you very much to all the subscribers and viewers. If you like the episode tonight, slapshot the like button. The Hockey Lounge will be following the Toronto Maple Leafs in detail this season. It's all or nothing, the Hockey Lounge edition. Forget Amazon. But let's put out the goaltending. Mr. Tipster, Santi, goaltending. Mrazek, Campbell. Mrazek left with an injury. I think he took a high shot, or maybe there's something there that could be bothering. But Campbell came in, and he didn't see a lot of action. He saw some towards the end of the period. I've been pleasantly surprised with Campbell. I think he played really well against the Habs. He's showing a little bit of confidence here. What are your thoughts on the goaltending?
So I'm going to stick with my original thoughts on Jack Campbell, only because of the time when I refereed, and I'm bullish on him. Goalies take a long time to grow up. Is the situation good for him? I don't think he's insulated enough because he could be it could get a little aggressive for him, and he could buckle with the pressure. The Mrazek signing, I'm going to stay consistent with my original thoughts. It's mind-baffling. It's like mind-blowing. In one breath, we're told Kyle Dubas is an analytical guy. So, I think the guy in Nashville and Mrazek are the two smallest goaltenders in the league. So if you're an analytical guy, I don't know why you're going against the book, where you just need to go out and get guys like Mike Smith that are 6'3" and that can help Jack Campbell become a number
this
one.
This guy with this Mike Smith.
If I hear that, you don't want to listen to me.
Listen to me.
Hold on, man.
Hold on 1 second. Did you watch the Oilers and Canucks game last night?
I don't care.
Is a sieve. Dave Tippett was blowing his marbles on the bench last night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike Smith has to pay 20 games a year, buddy. 2 games a month at the age of 40. Okay. Okay. Better than the guy that had in that night.
Santi, I'm telling you, you are a beauty with this Mike Smith.
Guys, there's better guys than Peter Mrazek out there, man.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen,
and so you guys can bust my balls about Mike Smith. I don't give a shit who it is. It's not Peter Mrazek. He goes against every analytical trend in the National Hockey League. Dubas is supposed to be an analytical guy.
Yeah.
It all this shit isn't equating. All he has to do is go down the hall to talk to his buddy Masai. His buddy Masai stuck around here for 2 years, saw DeMar and Kyle get the shit kicked out of him in the playoffs, and he said, "That's it. You're out of here." This guy is going to ride and die with those 4 guys up front. Doesn't matter who's in net. Doesn't matter who's behind the bench. Doesn't matter who's in goal. Doesn't matter who's taping the sticks or sharpening the skates. Okay? He's going to ride and die with those 4 guys, and he's going to die. And it's simple. And then we're going to have a new GM. And that's it. Sorry. I'm passionate about it.
And that's it. But so goaltending, Peter, what are your thoughts on the goaltending?
Well, I have to agree with Santi there. I mean, I was a bit surprised that Mrazek was our guy, especially, to be honest with you, even though I wasn't a huge Anderson fan, but, to lose Anderson for whatever money they lost him for, which was peanuts between the two of them, and why make that change? I don't understand that signing, to be quite honest with you. And, a guy that seems to get hurt more than he plays when he's still got a guy that's not proven. So was he the right fit? I don't think he was, but time will tell. So thank God that Jack Campbell is playing the way he is. Can he do it for a whole season? He hasn't done it before. So cross our fingers, which I hate to do, especially with goaltending. If you got to cross your fingers with goaltending, that's not a good sign.
For sure.
And then you know what, you guys?
Close your eyes too. What's that?
You know what? We're gonna and then they're gonna have to burn more prospect capital to go get a half decent backup because Mrazek may be injured or Mrazek's gonna shit the bed, and they're gonna burn more prospect.
What's wrong with Hutchinson? You don't like Hutchinson?
Oh, buddy.
So let's just throw the Harky Hark Shanahan needs to act more like a player. He was not the puppet MLSE has turned him into. Good point there, Harksy. Apple, goaltending, you brought up a name back when we did the Eastern Conference. Linus Ullmark was out there. There was a number of different goalies out there. Not sure why, like Paul said, he went for the second smallest goalie in the NHL if he's an analytic guy. But Paul, my thoughts on that before we get to App is, this is Dubas driven. He wants Campbell to be the number one guy. I think he's a stubborn type of guy, and he wants him to be number one from his days back in junior.
And that's fine. And Jack Campbell may be number one, but he's not properly insulated, okay? You need to get a number 2 goaltender. We've seen this exercise before, and now teams are investing in backups, not just throwing like a third-rate guy. And they did it all or nothing. They had to go out and get the guy at Calgary, Dave Rittich, right? They went out and got him because they didn't know what was going on with Freddie. They're going to end up in the exact, this is going to be the exact same thing all over again if they're trying to go into the playoffs and Mrazek shits the bed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because you got your backups going to play 20, 30 games a year. If he blows 5 of them, those 10 points might not get you into the playoffs. And during the free agent signing, they signed Mrazek early. He went before a lot of other goalies that were there. And I think some of the goalies that are marginally better than him, if the Leafs would have approached him, they might have come to Toronto with a chance to win and even a chance to take the number 1 spot if they played well, because Campbell was he's played well, but he's not proven to be a number 1 yet through a long period of time. there were guys out there that they could have got and taken. I'm telling you, some guys probably would have taken $1 million less a season to come to Toronto because they got a good, talented team. I think they jumped the gun on Mrazek. I don't get the decision on why they made it so. What they saw to hurry up and get him signed. And Santi's right. Campbell, there's too much pressure on Campbell. The defense isn't really good defensively, and the backup shit from what we've seen so far. So he's got a lot of pressure on him, especially in this city. Because when things start going south in this city, oh boy.
And there's no need for Dubas to put himself out on the line like that by going to get a backup. Like you replaced this guy for Freddie Anderson. You've got to do a better job to just protect yourself as a GM. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
Right. Belzy's watching tonight. He must have watched the Leaf game. Belzy says, put me in there. And I think he means at least 3 he gets tonight. So, yeah, Belzy's doing those toe drags right at the blue line. Coach's nightmare right there with Belzy's toe drags.
Yeah. Just go get the coffees, please.
Just get the coffees, Belzy. All right, guys. The one positive thing I'm going to tell you guys before we let everybody go tonight, again, we'll be watching the Leafs closely on the Hockey Lounge. What I'm excited for, though, guys, is the Battle of Ontario is back. I think, Ottawa is going to be a great team to watch. Matt Murray didn't play tonight because he had the sniffles. He wasn't feeling good. But Forsberg came in and he played really, really well. Peter, your thoughts? Let me ask you something. We go around the horn for the last question of the night here. I'm not going to say who, but somebody on the Sportsnet panel picked the Ottawa Senators. I'll say his name just to throw it out there. Anthony Stewart picked the Ottawa Senators to take the second wild card in the Eastern Conference this year. My question to you, and I'm going to go around the horn, start with you, Peter. Will the Ottawa Senators have more points than the Toronto Maple Leafs at the end of the year?
Oh, boy. If they do, you can pretty much I would say Toronto's going to be up in flames, to be honest with you, if that happens. I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. I still think Toronto's got too much talent, and I think Ottawa's still young and growing. So do I think that the Ottawa can sneak in there and make the playoffs? Maybe, potentially. I think a lot of teams are going to go in there and take them easy, take them lightly, and potentially, Ottawa's going to steal a bunch of points that they shouldn't. But no, I don't think Ottawa's going to have more points than Toronto.
Frank, the scary thing, though, about the Ottawa Senators, this is the scary thing if you're playing against Ottawa. They have nothing to lose but to get better. There is no pressure on any of their shoulders. And, Paul, if you're talking about letting guys go, they might have let the best coach get away from themselves without even realizing with DJ Smith.
Yep.
Frank, will Ottawa have more points than the Toronto Maple Leafs at the end of this year?
Well, I think what do they play? They play 6 or 7 games with each other. I think this year.
You got the Senators coming to Toronto on Saturday, so Battle on Ontario's Hockey Night in Canada.
Yeah. So my thoughts on that. It don't matter where the Leafs play, if it's in Ottawa or if it's in Toronto. Leaf Nation is strong. It's like a home game when Toronto scored tonight, right?
Yeah.
That's why I don't think the Ottawa Senators will make the playoffs, to be honest with you. I think Anthony Stewart, I disagree with his call, right? Because, it just – that's an organization there that, like you say, they have nothing to lose, right? But they don't have any expectations, to be honest with you, in my mind.
Right. So no expectations, but that's always a dangerous hockey club. Another reminder is that Tkachuk didn't even play tonight. Right. So he wasn't even in the lineup.
Yeah.
So another thing for Leaf Nation to chew on is that their so-called leader, captain, he signed a deal today. For everybody that doesn't know, he signed an 8-year deal, or an 8-year deal, I think it was, guys.
7.
7 for 8. 7 for 8, I believe. 56 million over 7 years, right?
Sounds right.
It's pretty good money for a player that has only put up, I think, a career high of 46 points. I believe I saw that today. Paul, Ottawa, Toronto.
Yeah, I don't think Ottawa touches them with points. But if they get bullshit hooking penalties like they got in their favor, they can beat anybody. Because those hooking penalties tonight were a joke, man. And Sheldon Keefe should have jumped on the ice head first and gone after that referee.
Yeah, that call
was
on
like
Tavares
atrocious.
was cheap. Yeah.
What about the other one on Engvall? It was a joke.
Yeah.
You're lifting his stick. Those aren't hooks, just so everybody knows. Okay?
Right.
I just want everybody to know that. Anyways.
And then what happened to the cross-checking penalties tonight? Tavares just got laid out in front of the net, and they scored, but that call should have been. They should have been went on to another power play there.
They did. They called that. They called that.
They called that on Tavares.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that's when they called the bullshit hooking penalty to even it
Right
up.
after,
The other referee didn't like it.
All right, so I was watching multiple games at that point.
What a joke.
So Leafs are taking 3 out of 4 here so far, and I'm gonna go to Apple. Again, he's sitting in the New Jersey Devils locker room waiting for tomorrow night's home opener. The Devils and I believe the Chicago Blackhawks. Ottawa or the Leafs?
No, the Leafs will have more points than Ottawa. Ottawa's defense is when they play teams that go to the net and stuff like that. The Leafs stay to the perimeter tonight. Shabbat's a great player, but I mean Josh Brown, Nick Holden, Victor Mete, Zaitsev, they're not strong at the back either.
Yeah, and their goaltending again, I think, is very questionable, just like the Toronto Maple Leafs. Guys, it's been awesome tonight. Thank you for coming on. I know it's a late one. It's 10:36. I know some of us have to get up early and get to work here. So, again, if you want to become a Hockey Lounge member, hit the subscribe button below or smash that like button, slap shot that like button. Guys, it's been a blast. Apple, Paul, Okane. Okane's coming out of the woodwork here for Leaf season. Pedro Cabral, Coach Pete was on the Hockey Lounge. And Paul Santi. He has some money on the line tonight. Which game do you have on the line tonight? Who did you take? What's the score in the football game?
28-14, and I have the Eagles +7, and I was really confident actually in it. I really thought that they would keep it within 7.
So it's 28. Buccaneers are winning.
28-14. Yeah.
How much time left?
1:58 left in the third quarter. It's third down for the Bucks. Thursday night games, man. Good teams. They're usually duds because they don't have a lot of time to prepare. But Tampa Bay came out like a house on fire. So hopefully the Eagles can tie it up here, or at least get within 7 points.
Okay, right. Just a quick update. Yeah. The Lightning scored 3 goals in the last 6:15 of the game to tie Detroit and win in overtime, 7-6.
Oh wow!
There you go. Right?
Wow.
So there you go. The will of a champion, right?
Yep.
That's a swagger.
Who is in that for Detroit?
What's that? Who's in that?
Who is in that for Detroit?
Who was in that for Detroit? It was Nedeljkovic.
Oh, it was. Wow.
Actually, oddly enough, they actually scored those 3 goals in under 4 minutes.
Wow.
That's aggressive.
Better to be a Leaf fan right now, gents. Thanks for coming on tonight, guys.
All right,
guys. Have a great night. To all the viewers out there, we'll see you soon. Thanks, guys. Continue watching Hockey Lounge. Have a great night, guys. Cheers.
Bye, guys.
Night, guys.